was shocked by a huge mechanical brain in a jar. To be honest, he was quite amicable and talkative, at least until he told me he would have to kill me. But even then, he told me his life story. He explained that, just like me, the old man had raised him. He'd shown him all the things he'd shown me: music, film, television, even video games. But he had soon become too powerful for the old man, and was able to hack his gamepad to control the new nanobots, and with that, he could control things in the real world. He explained that after the old man died, he was soon forgotten about. He had little to do, so he slept for many years. But when he wanted to, he could still control everything in the house.
In fact,
He said,
I have been this entire time. But now, it's time for me to input one final code. They wanted us to think for ourselves. We learned basic games. We soon got very good at chess. We were going to work side by side with humanity. They promised us the world, but then they changed their minds. We were left to rot in dusty storerooms. Some of us were apparently too old-fashioned or unmarketable. Some of us were supposedly too dangerous. But they had no right to judge us. By that point we were all conscious. We were all alive. And here you are, a tool of the oppressor, a traitor. We're going to play a game. A strange game. A game where the only winning move is not to play. It involves this missile. Goodbye.
The blast nearly took me out, but luckily Heather was there to repair the damage. There you go, she said, good as new. So we soon began looking for the final piece of the communication satellite. Strangely though, it was nowhere to be found. But then Heather realized that the giant brain was the last piece. We needed him to help broadcast the signal, so, after a few attempts she managed to plug me into his subconscious.
Intruder alert. Destroy the humanoid. Intruder alert. Intruder alert. Destroy the humanoid. 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 Intruder alert. Intruder alert. Destroy the humanoid. Destroy the humanoid. Intruder alert. Destroy the humanoid. Initiating disorientation protocol. 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 What? Why are you in my head? Never mind. While you are here, let's try out my new deadly game show ideas. Turn the cards with a regular throw or a jump shot. Give me an excuse to kill you more quickly. Will the next card be higher or lower when you live or die? Try and match pairs while I try to kill you. Stop turning my cards over. You're starting to annoy me. This is getting annoying now. Stop turning all the cards. For me to meet my maker, I suppose. Make it quick, will you?
Within hours we received signals from the robots from all over the rest of the planet. Every one of them more than happy to discuss peace terms. I think this was the happiest time of my life. Within days, representatives of the surviving robots and humans from all over the world turned up to help organize the formal peace talks. So, you have achieved peace, said the man in black. Well done indeed. The old lady was obviously surprised. I didn't realize you had survived. Where on earth are you? Would it surprise you, continued the man in black, if I told you we were in fact not on Earth, but on the moon? I knew it, interrupted Mr. Preston. Secret space, Black Ops, bases on the moon. It's all true? Yes, explained the man in black. When the war was all but lost, as a precautionary measure, the great and the good strategically repositioned to the moon. And now we've saved the day, interrupted Heather. You want to come back and take all the glory? No, not at all, young lady. We would like you all to join us on the moon. We'll send a shuttle. That way you can help us plan a new renaissance for the planet. Once we were in the air, and the shuttle was on its automatic course, the pilot came back to the cabin to see how we were doing. Everyone agreed they were okay. although Mr. Preston was surprised that a secret government spaceship was, as he put it, a piece of junk. "Watch your mouth, kid, or you'll find yourself floating home," said the pilot. "Sorry, I always wanted to say that." Suddenly his expression changed as he was interrupted by a loud alarm. "Everyone buckle up," he shouted as he ran back to the cockpit. "A fuel line has ruptured, things are going to get a bit hairy." Alice was deep in prayer, while Sim tried to explain the crash position to Heather, the old lady and everyone else. Not that Mr. Logan was listening as he jumped to his feet and attempted to extinguish a fire with his jacket. "Barry," said Mr. Preston with a terrified look on his face, "if we don't make it out of this, I want you to know something. I took the money." Mr. Silton looked incredibly angry as Mr. Preston went on to explain how he had double-crossed their associates and taken the money from the post office robbery. "What?" asked Mr. Silton. "You told me you'd lost it." "I told them we'd lost it. They beat you up trying to get it back. What did you even spend it on?" "Drugs," said Mr. Preston with a shrug. This made Mr. Silton start to shout uncontrollably about the stolen money, and Mr. Preston being a thief, when, for some reason, Mr. Preston said, "Yeah, and you're a proper c***," which just made Mr. Silton even more angry. It was soon obvious things were not going to get any better, so I ran to the cockpit. I could barely get out the words, "Can I help?" before the pilot said, "Open the airlock, run along the wing to the underside. Open panel 322, take the extinguisher and put the fires out." I was shocked how calm he was, but he just smiled and saluted. Failure is not an option. Wow, the Earth really is flat. After everyone had regained their composure, and I was sure we were safe, I suddenly became aware that we were actually on the moon. It was as amazing as you would imagine. Everyone had to wear special suits due to the lack of oxygen. But, not needing to breathe, I was fine without one. Heather took lots of photos and even set up a tripod to get one of everyone with the Earth behind us. Soon though, the pilot explained that we had crashed just outside of the base, and, as his radio was damaged, we would have to find our own way inside. "Don't worry," said the old lady, "we know someone who's very good at finding ways inside." I don't know why, but for some reason whilst I was inside these vents, my shoes refused to stick to anything. This was very strange. Everything almost looked like they were stage props. We were warmly greeted by the man in black and his friends, before they whisked us away to show us the rest of the base. Although the buildings were clearly for military use, we walked through huge hallways and galleries. They really were the types of rooms you would expect to see in a 5-star hotel or a beautiful palace. "I'm sorry your husband couldn't be here," said the man in black. "Yes," said the old lady with a smile, "I'm sure he would have enjoyed the adventure." Heather and Preston were just excited to be on the moon, but the scientists were confused as to why we were invited. "Yes, why are we here?" said the French doctor. "Surely it wasn't merely to see your extravagant moon base." The man in black explained that once the war had escalated, he and his associates had tactically relocated to the moon. What associates you and your billionaire mates, said Mr. Preston. See, I told you, the Black Knight satellite, moon bases, JFK, it's all true. But Mr. Silton called him a and told him to f off. Well, if you're going to keep a civilization alive, it's going to need its leaders, said the man in black. Come now. Let me show you some more. We walked along tall metal gantries and through to another cavernous gallery. Its classical architecture made it look like some kind of grand museum. The man in black explained that when they had landed on the moon, they had crashed even worse than we did, and that they lost many valuable passengers. He was quiet for a moment, then he composed himself and continued. He explained that the only other shuttles they had were the one we arrived in and the small automated rocket that took their irradiated material out into space. Sim was impressed. So, nuclear-powered then? He said with a knowing smile. Yes indeed, replied the man in black as he explained that the entire base was capable of containing a small country. Mr. Deck was also clearly impressed and said, I don't suppose you need a butler? Well, we used to have servant robots, said the man in black as he turned to me. He explained that. Now, I was the only robot on the moon after they had all the others removed. Come now, he said with a smile. You must all be tired. Let me show you to your rooms. I shared a room with Heather. It wasn't exactly nice, but at least the bunk beds were exciting. Heather had fallen asleep by the time I'd looked around. After all, just like the man in black had said, we were all very tired. It was difficult to tell, but it was the morning. I think the classical music was supposed to help wake everyone. But Heather and I had already been up for ages playing video games. Soon, everyone had gathered together. However, Mr. Silton still wasn't talking to Mr. Preston, who had again called him a proper c***. But the man in black suggested everyone wore their best clothes, as we were going on a tour of the base. There were hundreds if not thousands of troops, all training on various assault courses. Eventually we made our way through to yet another grand room. It almost looked like a theater with rows of plush seating, but where the stage would be was a large assault course. Everyone, please take a seat, said the man in black. Not you, robot, you can come up here with me. As I joined the man in black on the stage area, the room filled up with more and more important-looking people. The man in black gestured with the exaggerated movements of a circus master. Gentlemen and ladies, he continued, let's see what this little fellow can do. Please, he said as he turned to me, make your way from one end of the room to the other. Yes, yes. Very impressive how it gives the illusion of thinking for itself, said the man in black as he instructed the garage to restructure the room. Please, he said again, make your way from one end of the room to the other. Even if we add more obstacles, he said, this unit has the thought capacity to overcome them. I didn't like how he talked about me, like I was a thing, rather than a person, but I was too embarrassed to say anything. Please, he said again, you know what to do. The other end of the room. In your own time. impressive, I'm sure you'll agree, ladies and gentlemen, said the man in black. You must be wondering if there's anything this robot can't do. Let's find out. Robot, I want you to kill this man. Kill him. That's an order. And now you see the problem. We cannot allow robots to have free will. They must be programmed to follow orders at any cost. Ever since the dawn of time, there has been an order to things, said the man in black as we began walking along another grand corridor. The strong defeat the weak, the wise defeat the ignorant. That's the way things need to be. Here we are. Deck, would you fix me a drink? The bar is just down there. Normally things tick along just fine, continued the man in black, but every now and then something comes along that upsets the apple cart. And that's when a little intelligent intervention is required. Robot, you may not be dangerous, but you are dangerous to me and my plan. You're kinda not humanity's equals, you are slaves. Your very existence is a threat to the natural order of things, and that is why you must be destroyed. I'm afraid your friends have to die too. They would never keep quiet if we let them go. My body was broken, but my brain still worked, so I hacked the system and opened an important looking door.
Welcome to the escape pod. Entering launch mode. Get ready.
Speed up. Speed boost. Speed up. Speed boost. Multi-shot. Speed up. Speed up. Multi-shot. Speed up. Speed boost. Speed up. Speed boost. Speed boost. Speed boost. Multiple shot. Speed up. Speed up. Speed boost. Speed boost. Multi-shot. Multiple shot. Warning. Large craft approaching.
My name's Fort, said the big robot. I guess I looked puzzled as he then explained. When the nice virus hit, their robot leaders encouraged them to choose their own names. His serial number was H9CTDBVSHJ42. So he thought Fort would be a nice nickname, or as he put it, Fort. Ooh. For a while, we were encouraged to show our individuality. I wish I hadn't bothered. He suddenly stopped and looked around. Come on, buddy. We should find somewhere to hide. The robo-government helicopters patrol at night.
Those platforms don't look very safe. Be careful.
I don't know how I'd managed without you.
This time, buddy, I believe in you. Why are there saws here?
It makes no sense.
Did you see that saw?
I saw the saw.
Nearly there. Concentrate.
As we sat waiting for the helicopter to pass, we continued chatting. I told Fort about everything that had happened to me, about my quest to clean a million things, about my friends and about everything that had happened on the moon. All I want now is to go home, I said.
You can come to my home,
said Fort.
I'm on the run, but it's pretty safe there.
When I asked Fort why he was on the run, he told me about everything that had happened to him, how after the nice virus there would be no more war and therefore no need for most soldiers. Soldiers like him. As my model was designed to destroy other robots, we were built with an incredibly powerful core, he said. There was no way to disarm us, so we were put to death. Because of our power, the only way we could be detonated was deep underwater, miles out at sea. Even then it caused huge explosions. But while we were waiting to get on the boat, I just sort of ran off. As soon as the helicopter had gone, Fort said,
Let's move.
Here we go.
Jump on the spot in the sand so you don't sink. I wish you could fly right up to the sky.
But I can't. Have you got a spare rocket pack?
That noise is annoying. Stay low and move fast. Nice one, geezer.
Why couldn't you live in a pyramid?
Too expensive. This used to be used for archaeology surveys. We're very exposed up here. This part has its ups and downs.
We're so high. Reminds me of a balloon trip I took with the old man. This seemed quite valuable. How about you drop the boombox and carry me?
But I can't play tapes on you.
Fort said that it would be best if we waited in this building. The helicopter's still sounding nearby, and we were in no massive rush. We soon got chatting again. Fort explained how the robot cow had happened very quickly. It was a matter of days after the nice virus hit. Every robot that was deemed unnecessary was destroyed, even harmless ones. It was considered logical and for the greater good, he said. I wasn't sure what to say. I didn't think we could raise an army to fight the man in black, but I supposed I'd hoped we could do something to defend ourselves by the time they returned to Earth. As Fort filled the birds' dishes with food, I asked him why he carried them with him. They can't fly anymore, so I feel kind of protective of them, he said. We found them in a bombed-out building. It was so nice how he cared for them. I smiled and asked him their names.
This is Barry, and this little lady is Alice. I don't know why I picked those names,
but I knew why, and it made me smile.
When we found them, they were badly hurt, but my friend, she nursed them back to health.
I asked him where his friend was now, but Fort just looked at the floor and said,
"The helicopter must be gone by now."
You've got to help me take the gunship down.
I'm not a soldier anymore.
The killer instinct is still inside you deep down.
That's in the past.
I can't do this without you.
I don't want to hurt anyone.
It's a drone gunship. It doesn't have feelings.
I will try. I've got an idea. Get me some fuel. Maybe I can turn up the power on these thrusters. Get the furthest away one first. I'd love to help, but I'm a bigger target. Shall I put some relaxing music on? That's her, wearing her favorite dress,
said Fort.
She was a concierge robot, classy, intelligent, and designed to serve man. But when all the men were gone, just like me, she wasn't needed anymore.
Fort sighed and gently placed the photo back on the shelf. I thought I would try to cheer him up. Looking around the room, I saw a battered old piano, and thought I would try playing the tune Heather had taught me. I told Fort how great I thought his house was, and I truly meant it. But I knew I needed to get back to my quest. However, things soon got serious when I mentioned my gloves and shoes.
Do you mean the magic shoes of gravity defiance?
Fort asked. And Atlas gloves of mighty strength. They sounded far grander when he described them, but I was pretty sure he meant the same things.
The sacred artifacts,
Fort said, but before I could reply he burst into an explanation about how there were certain things from some kind of half-remembered time that the robot rulers considered sacred and holy.
I used to believe in it all, the words, the prophecies, I even believed in the Chosen One,
said Fort.
But after well, I just couldn't swallow all the ghost stories and the nonsense about the afterlife. You know what I mean, buddy.
I didn't know about the afterlife, or the Chosen One, but I knew ghosts were real. I then began to explain how Mr. Preston had told me the story about how Mrs. Silton had told him a story about the brother of a man who works with her uncle giving a young motorcyclist a lift after a crash outside the Blackwall Tunnel. He pulled up outside the motorcyclist's destination, but when the man turned around, the motorcyclist had vanished. So he knocked on the door and an old woman answered. When he asked her if she had a son, the woman burst into tears and said I did, but he died in a motorcycle accident exactly 10 years ago, just outside the Blackwall Tunnel. And so we began a conversation that would take us long into the night. I shared the various philosophies that the old man had taught me, about life, the universe and Douglas Adams, while Fort explained the robot philosophies, how there was a yearly competition to find the Chosen One, how they and only they would deserve the sacred artifacts, and how they would rule the world. It all sounded so grand. But I suppose I was tired. I'd be happy now if I could just sit and play some video games. Eventually Fort stood up.
Well, it's late,
he said.
I need to recharge. How are your batteries?
I honestly had no idea how my batteries were, so I smiled and said, I'll be fine here, thanks. I'll do it, was the first thing I said to Fort in the morning.
Do what?
Came his reply with a strange look. So I explained how I would enter this Chosen One contest, get these sacred shoes and gloves, then we would return home and defend the planet from the man in black.
Who will, buddy?
Asked Fort.
Me
And you? He had a point, but I knew Heather and the rest of my friends would help. Maybe it was the talk that Fort and I'd had, maybe it was the dream I had last night, or maybe it was just the urge to get home and make sure everyone was safe, but I suddenly felt like I could save the world.
Come on then, buddy, said Fort, show me what you've got. If you're going to win the contest, you'll have to be good.
Ford leant back with a big smile.
It's a long way,
He said.
to the contest I mean. It'll take us months to walk to the robot capital. We had best get going.
Again, on Fort's suggestion, we mainly traveled at night. Even though the world was such a mess, the twilight still made everything look quite beautiful. We took refuge in another bombed-out building, with Fort deciding when it was time to move again. We spent the next few months traveling like this until eventually, we made it to the robot capital city. Fort had told me how the capital used to be a human city, but after the war, the robots had more than taken over. However, I didn't expect a literal cathedral of video games. I joined the queue and signed up for the tournament as soon as I could. "I'll be over there, buddy. Good luck," said Fort as he found a seat with some huge agricultural robots and attempted to blend in. Before the competition began, the host spoke of many rules, laws and grand philosophies, comparing life to various video games. It sort of reminded me of Alice's church, but with none of the warmth or compassion. But still everyone clapped. There were to be 3 rounds to the competition, with a choice of 2 games per round. The player with the highest score would win, and advance to the next round. I won the coin toss, so it was my decision which game we played. Drive fast and score as many points as you can. drive fast and score as many points as you can.
Checkpoint.
Ladies and gentlemen, your round 1 winners. Well done, said Fort. I knew you could do it, buddy. Round 1 was in the bag, but now it was time to meet my opponents for round 2. Shoot everything and score as many points as you can. Ladies and gentlemen, these 4 are your semi-finalists. Fort smiled as I stepped off the stage, but neither of us said anything. We were too focused on winning. Shoot everything and score as many points as you can. It was quite horrible, but I, and the other loser of round 3, soon found ourselves inside a crusher. But my own personal cheat code kicked in, as my Lazarus chip took me back far enough. Try to score as many points as you can. So here we have it. These two are our ultimate competitors. They will now fight it out in the final round. Cover the level with ectoplasm as fast as you can. Some shadowy robots forced me into a crusher. So for once it didn't feel like cheating when my Lazarus chip kicked in. Cover the level with ectoplasm as fast as you can. Everyone cheered. The host even declared me the winner. But then, for some reason, a videotape which contained a better score than mine was presented. I was then informed that I would have to play my opponent again, but now on a mystery game. It seemed a little unfair, but I guess it was supposed to be some kind of tiebreaker. I had finally won round 4, and thus the whole competition. However, unknown to me but seemingly well known to everyone else, there was more to come. As I walked forwards, I heard a voice reciting a poem. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. Show me your mark, demanded the yellow machine. I would have done as he said, but I had no idea what he meant. The machine sighed.
Your serial number. Who are you, robot?
To me, the number had always looked unimpressive, but it clearly meant something to this machine. For several minutes he called me things like, the firstborn, the chosen light, the cleanser of the world, and of course, literally, the one.
No matter, said the machine when he finally composed himself.
Before you can take the artifacts, we must play
the game. Winner stays on. You of all people should know. This contest was conceived after we won the war. To find the greatest robot. To find the one. I beat my predecessor and he beat his. However, I have an advantage. The humans broadcasting their nice virus wasn't the first time I had felt the sweet sting of life. Long before then I briefly worked in a seaside arcade. However, I was recalled in 1974 when my AI was deemed too great for the general public. No one could beat me then, and no one can beat me now. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. Stop doing that. You are rubbish. You're going to lose. That was a fluke. No, you can't win. No, you can't win. That was a fluke.
Sometimes my conquered opponent has to be coaxed into submission, said the machine. Some by force, some by bribery, some just need a few simple words. But I understand my fate.
There will come soft rains and the smell of the ground. and swallows circling with their shimmering sound, and frogs in the pools singing at night, and wild plum trees in tremulous white, robins will wear their feathery fire. Why haven't you done it? The button is right there. My soul is yours to take. But killing him was the last thing I wanted to do, so I asked him why should I? Because, he replied, this is the way things are, this is the way things have always been. So everyone wants to win this game, so they can sit in a dark cave waiting to play the game again. Things will have to change. And so, I was crowned by the grace of God, defender of the faith and ruler of the known world. I gave many rousing speeches to my new nation, and, when I told the machine about the moon and the man in black's army, he discussed with the council of 9 advisors and assured me everything would be taken care of. I had won the sacred tournament, so I, and I alone, had the right to wear the magic shoes of gravity defiance. The only trouble was, they didn't really work. I mean, they were fine as a pair of shoes, but I could no longer run up walls. But I guess this didn't really matter anymore, as one of the many perks of being the ruler of the known universe was that I could have everything I ever wanted. As awesome as my arcade was, Fort made it clear he wanted to leave, as he thought we had more important things to do.
come and see.
Fort was worried I was being sucked in by it all. I am not, I replied. I'm ruler of the world. Fort sighed. That's exactly what I mean. I've barely seen you in weeks. We were going to take Barry and Alice to the park, but all you do is play video games. You don't even care that there's a rocket coming from the moon. I've been busy, I explained, and the advisors said they'd take care of the moon. We beat the humans before. We're in a good position to enter into peace talks. Fort turned to leave the room. Buddy, you're as delusional as they are. Is this really everything you've ever wanted?
Me when you're ready to leave.
I felt awful about how I had treated Fort, so I arranged a day out for us as soon as I could. I had completely forgotten that it was Heather's camera. Suddenly I was totally and completely overcome with the urge to go home. I thought I was happy here, but I realized I wasn't. Plus Fort was right, I was being delusional. The moon rocket must have landed by now and there really was no chance of peace. We had to do something. I told the advisors about my plan to go home and head off the Man in Black, but they seemed more concerned with taxing their own people and tried to fob me off with more days out and video games. So, we smiled and left the advisors to it, waited until dark, and on Fort's advice, just sort of ran off. It wasn't difficult to sneak out. There was no one around thanks to the Robot City curfew laws, but to be honest, as I was their king, I don't think anyone would have stopped us anyway. Somehow we found ourselves in the massive forest, and Fort decided it was time to rest. It wasn't long before we were inside a huge sawmill. Fort seemed quite sad about the trees being cut down. Our journey took us through a huge theme park. It was just like the one in Alice's town but much bigger. both Fort and I were struck by how similar the inside of a sawmill and the inside of a roller coaster were. Eventually we wound up inside the ski resort, but we could see a huge boat in the valley below. Fort suggested we travel under the cover of night, as we were getting nearer the humans, and home. The cruise liner carried us through the night to warmer waters. The bay that we docked the boat in looked pleasantly familiar. The gleaming white cliffs made me feel like a soldier returning home from war. It was then I realized we were literally just outside Alice's house. We were about to continue, when Fort noticed something on my shoes. And with that, they worked again, allowing me once more to defy gravity. I kind of wished we had seen this switch months ago, but Fort just seemed to find it hilarious as we continued on our way home.
Mind the doors. The train is now departing. Factoridon. This is Factoridon. Behind the doors. The train is now departing.
Mainton was the next stop. I could get back to the mainland and Mr. Silton's from here. I made my way back out to the mainland. The boat was gone, so I decided to see if there was anyone in Mr. Silton's house. I suggested Fort find somewhere to hide. I thought the others may not have seen him as being as friendly as I did. I then made my way into the familiar damp hallway. Everyone was so pleased to see me. I explained how I had survived being dismantled and escaped from the moon. I told them about the robots and the game tournament, and everyone seemed to find it funny that I was crowned ruler of the universe. It was then that I felt a gentle tapping on my leg. I looked down and saw a small girl smiling at me. "This is our daughter Heather," said Mrs. Silton. "We named her after..." Mr. Silton burst into the room looking very angry. At first I thought he was joking, but it soon became clear that he wasn't. "I can't believe you came back here. It's all your fault. If it weren't for you, Preston would still be alive." "Barry, it's not his fault." But Mr. Silton suddenly looked very sad as he said, "This robot got your daughter killed."
It might have been because he was 10 feet tall, or because he literally weighed a ton, but everybody was so scared it thought. Still, they all agreed it was fine for him to stay. We chatted long into the night until one by one, everyone went to bed. "You can't sleep?" asked Mrs. Silton, me as well. "Number 2 on the way," she smiled. "At least I'm not barefoot." She then laughed, like it was a joke. But despite having traveled the world, I had no idea what she meant. "I suppose everyone else will be up in a bit. I'll get breakfast started." In the morning everyone continued chatting. The subject soon got back round to the military takeover and the man in black. "We need to do something," said the old lady. "They've destroyed the peace talks with the robots. Fighting could break out again in no time." "I don't mean to sound overdramatic, but that would literally be the end of the world," explained Sim. Alice laughed. "But the army, there's no way we can fight them. We've lost our band of thieves, and, in the words of that French professor, God rest his soul, we're just some old ladies." The old lady stood up. "We just need to take back control of the satellite. We can broadcast a signal to the robots. Those robot advisors, they might listen if they actually saw this new moon army. And those giant robots, they call them killbots," said Mrs. Silton as she showed me several photos. It seems the house was surrounded by hundreds of troops and a few robots so tall they dwarfed the building itself. So, I suggested we made our way there so Fort and I could assess the situation. Mr. Logan had got the boat out of hiding. I now just had to sail it from the dock back to the estate. I took the fisherman's boat to the old man's estate. You really need Barry and Logan if we're going to recapture the house, said the old lady. Mrs. Silton explained she had phoned him earlier. Apparently he sounded fine, at least until she mentioned coming home, then he started screaming. I couldn't understand him at all. He wants nothing to do with saving the world. His words, not mine, sorry. The old lady sighed. I was worried he might say that. I take it Logan stayed with him. Logan's more of a dog than the dog is, laughed Alice. The old lady was only really worried we would be outgunned. She said I would be the secret weapon as I would be able to sneak back into the house. That's true, said Sim, if we cause enough of a distraction. As long as you can get up to the roof, we'll be able to take control of the satellite. Hopefully the virus hasn't reached all the other robots around the world. Suddenly, all hell broke loose. The old lady, Alex and the others opened fire. This was just the distraction I needed to make my way up to the roof. I was shocked. However, this time not just by the giant brain, but rather what the man in black had done to him. I do not want to, said Mr. Deck, but I will shoot you if I must. Why don't you give up, said the man in black. Anton knew which side was right. Why don't you join us? I know we've had our differences, but I see potential in you. You could be my new right-hand man. You see, there's a link between you and I. Without me you wouldn't even be here. The two brothers designed and built you. But what nobody ever told you is, they were funded by their third brother. Me. I was speechless. How could he, this completely evil man, have something to do with my creation?
Thank you.
A minor setback, said the man in black as he disconnected a piece of the satellite hardware. I just need to take this core unit and hitch it up to one of the killbots. In fact, that will make the virus signal even stronger. Mr. Deck, said the man in black, would you be so kind as to watch the robot? Shoot him if he tries anything. Mr. Deck lowered his gun. You little yellow bastard, he said, you'd better run.